Carter, we're off to a start.
Yeah, but this is great.
I don't know if it's a good start.
No, this is excellent.
If you like,
this is how we open it. This is how we open it. We have a conversation, you and I. We talk about all the things that are happening in the world. How is your world, by the way?
My world is great. I've been on a lot of planes.
Yeah.
I've been a lot of places.
Yeah.
You have too, though.
Yeah, I'm in the bustling burb of Edmonton, just back from Winnipeg, and I was in Toronto. So, I've been all over.
What were you doing in Winnipeg? I'm now interested in Winnipeg exclusively.
Can't tell you that.
We know that Edmonton's the Edmonton
NDA.
Accelerants.
Yeah.
The political institution known as the Edmonton Accelerants.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Are you starting a political party in Winnipeg? Is that what's next?
You got to. I mean, every major city across Canada needs one of these things, at the very least. So that's what I'm doing.
Good.
Should we?
Good. I like that you're wearing.
Should we bring in our special guest?
How are you?
Oh my God! There he is. There he is. The Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Podcast,
Ladies and
Stephen
gentlemen.
Carter. It's one Corey Hogan.
Very nice. That's a good intro, Zain. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Oh, you know what? Thank you for your service, and thank you for that wonderful House of Commons headset, which gives me it automatically puts me to sleep every time I hear someone speak using that equipment. It just makes me want to jab my eyes out and then go to sleep.
House of Commons headset. I'm sitting here in my standard issue House of Commons office. I think they have a lot of these because they send them to anybody who's like a committee guest, right? Like they'll send it, so that you're using a proper microphone. So.
Is that a proper microphone? Because it doesn't sound very proper.
Yeah.
Do you not like it? I don't know.
No, it sounds terrible. Are you kidding me? It sounds horrible.
Sounds terrible.
Okay, compared to a podcast mic, that sounds atrocious.
I don't have my podcast mic here. That's true.
No, I'm telling you. So then why did you call it a proper microphone? Words matter. You're a member of Parliament, Corey. Come on. Jesus. Wow.
So how is it possible that, I'm not trying to big time you guys, but that it's like, you are the two hardest people to peg down to do anything with at the same time.
Because we are big time.
I'm running 28 campaigns all at the same time. So
how are they doing?
And I've given him an out to call it 2, but he's not accepting it. He wants a record of 7 out of 28, and he's going to.
That's hurtful.
Give yourself a letter grade. Give yourself a letter grade
on how I'm doing right now, or how the campaign is doing.
From 1 to A.
From 1 to A, I probably would give myself a 4.6. Okay. That's on the GPA scale of 4.4.
I missed you guys.
Yeah,
you know what? I missed you guys. It's good.
You have.
This is the content people came for.
We haven't missed you. You've been around. You've been on TV. You've been on all the news shows. You've been, standing behind or sitting behind Carney.
I do sit I am in the Prime Minister's shot, which is
good. Yeah, your facial expressions matter.
Yeah.
You're like Jim. You're like the Jim from the Office situation.
I got to really use it more. I've got to look to the mic at certain points and make facial expressions at the right time.
You 100% do. You got to know where camera placement is the whole time.
All the time. Yeah. It's actually pretty easy. There's pretty big screens in the House of Commons. So.
Corey Hogan, there's so much to catch up on. We have not seen you in a while. I mean, we've seen you everywhere, but we've not seen you on the show in a while. This is, of course, for those that are uninitiated, this is the Ministry of Podcasts. Stephen Carter is the Minister of Podcasts. Corey Hogan is the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Podcasts.
That's good.
And, of course, this show is brought to us by Flair Airlines, the new Ministry of Transportation. It's true. This is. I'm just laying it out there so people know what they're listening to. You have had your arms crossed for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, you
Tense
okay,
much?
bud?
Yeah. You sure?
You
seem like you're not wanting to.
It's 11:10 at night here.
It's entirely on you. Your lighting is questionable as well. It looks. I said this. You look like you've eaten the corpse of Dracula with this lighting. It looks very spotlit.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to create a sense of drama for the Minister of Podcast here, who also has very dramatic lighting. I don't see you coming after him.
Yeah, I do. I have very dramatic lighting.
He does.
Yeah, it's you, Zain, who's the problem. Yeah.
Carter, we have a sitting MP, and I think we're talking to him about the right things. Personally, as I review the last 5 minutes, I think we're nailing it. We have no form or structure on this show.
I know.
Other than at some point to get Corey to uncross his arms and not be as tense. Yeah. Do you want to maybe do that so that you could be hospitable on our Oh, fantastic. Carter, we ask Corey questions. We ask him how his summer was, I suspect. We ask him what's going on. Where shall we start? I've got a few questions for one of Mr. Hogan, but of course I will let you as the minister get us started.
No, I'm really interested primarily in what it's been like going back. The first time going into the House, I think is kind of exciting. You're a rookie, you're getting sworn in, you're flying to Ottawa. It's all tickety-boo and exciting. Now you've got an apartment. Now you live in Ottawa for all intents and purposes during the session. What's it been like for you to find yourself in this new situation where you're really, for the first time, more than 1.5 kilometers away from me and Zain?
This is actually it's great.
It's true. It is actually. I feel that absence every day too. I want you guys to know.
I think so.
I know it's still early days, right? Like it is. What you said is totally true. Like the feel of coming back is not the same as the first time that I went there.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still setting everything up, like both in a kind of a literal household sense, but also just in terms of just figuring out our lives. Like it's a really funny job because every day you're doing something for the first time, but it also feels like you log so many miles so quickly. You're also doing something for what feels like the millionth time every day too, right? Like, oh God, another question period. Here we go. Even though, like, honestly, it's only been, I don't know, 25 of them. Like, it's not like a lot of question periods yet. And just give you a sense, like, I flew in Sunday night, Monday morning, landed at like 1 a.m., went to an apartment I have never been to before. I had one of my staff go with their phone and kind of look around and give me video of it there. He also accepted a giant IKEA delivery. So I'm in like Stonehenge IKEA. Like there's just boxes everywhere. My bed is not like my bed is still in one of those shrink wrap tubes. So that I have to like open the bed and find the sheets. And I put that on. I sleep on the floor on the mattress. And I still haven't managed to assemble anything besides that. Because when you're in Parliament, like it's 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every night. Sometimes later if you're going to do, a C-tier podcast from Calgary, Alberta. But yeah, man, it's a weird time. It's a really weird time.
I've got a question for you. Okay, so maybe we'll go back and forth, Carter. It's a new novel structure
I like
I've
this.
invented
This
for
is
this
fun.
podcast.
Oh, okay.
You ask one, and then I ask one.
Two hosts,
and then we keep it fresh.
No, this is good.
We keep it fresh. So the three of us, Corey, have done media training for several executives, organizations.
Media trained a lot, yeah.
We've media trained. Sorry, yeah, we have.
Yeah,
we've media trained a lot of people. You have recently been in media. I am curious if any of the media training you have given has applied to you, or if you've caught yourself, and is like the training you've provided in retrospect been sufficient? Has it been interesting? Have you internalized it? How are you thinking of media? I mean, the three of us did a ton of media when we were pundits, but this is different. You're like, you're doing accountability interviews, right? Like, often. Give me that sense when like you're in the big leagues that way, and what your training and pedigree has kind of like led you to, or any insights you have.
Yeah, well, I would say first and foremost, like it is a great foundation. Like you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and of course we've been doing it for so long, and even in the pundit version, like you're not going to get swayed by some of the conventional tricks. There's things that reporters do where they take you through a bit of a roller coaster. They're your best bud. Oh man, that answer really dissatisfied them though. Don't you want your best bud back? Like, give a better answer. Tell us more information. I'm never going to fall for any of them.
Without naming names, have you seen that roller coaster play out in recent media?
Of course, yeah. I mean, you know what? And one of the things is it happens not just on camera. Like beforehand, everyone's like, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And then on camera, they start a little warm, and they're like, "What the? Why?" You create this sense almost that these answers are unsatisfactory, and that's like a regular tactic of media. It's not a bad thing. It probably serves them very well. But so some of that fundamental stuff you just have a good understanding of. But there's also key messaging, bridging back to your key message, making sure you don't get too lost into the weeds. Of course, nobody does it perfect all of the time, and sometimes you do find yourself in the weeds, but knowing how to pull yourself out of it, know how to get your point across, that's all useful stuff. And I think that in general, if you're going to be working with the media, you should have a pretty good sense of how that all works.
You got to do the major projects thing. That was your big media last week, right? Where you got to stand in front of all the cameras and and do the major projects.
Political shows,
yeah,
at least.
and you got to be the spinner.
Right. It's not so much even. Well, it's an interesting one, right? Like, so it is my job. Like, I'm parliamentary secretary for energy and natural resources, and there were a couple of programs I went on for sure, and a couple of different interviews I had. And yeah, I mean, when you're a pundit, like we all were, it's more like, give us your analysis. Oh, maybe I agree with that, maybe I don't. Interesting. Let's move on. Whereas when it's the government, and to Zane's point about accountability, it becomes much more like, but is that like? Can I trust that? Like, tell me more. Like, tell me why that's not BS. And so you end up in a more charged environment. I wouldn't call it like confrontational, but certainly like it's not loose and easy. It's not like whatever you say, who cares? You're just talking for yourself. Like you are carrying the weight of like a government initiative, like worth billions of dollars, like $60 billion of development for the country, right? And you just don't want to kind of screw it up. And so there is a totally different feeling. And of course, one of the things that I think is a risk that comes from having done too much media in different contexts. And by the way, I think you can both attest, we saw this a lot when reporters went to the other side, like when they became PR people. You can be too comfortable and you can be too loose and you can just go off script a little too easily. So you have to keep that in mind, and you have to check yourself as you're going to, because it's not one person's riffing. It's not the column you're writing tomorrow. It is, a controlled conversation about the government's message, because the government's message is important and it's really easy to get knocked off message. So you got a bit more of a weight on your shoulders, I think, when you're doing media like this. There's no question.
Was there any instinct that you had to be like enter into pundit mode a bit, or be like play things off as, like use humor or anything like that? Like things that you would do on our pod, right? When you were like the part of the trio, to be like, this could be helpful here, or like, are you sticking to the ground rules? Because I find that really interesting, right? Like you've got this other persona that you've had on the podcast for years, right? Like, and like that's looser, more like, and it's because it's the three of us, I would imagine.
Rarely crossed his arms for interviews,
Yeah, rarely.
But like I would say, I think this suit count is suit count number 5 across thousands of episodes. So like, did you, and do you think about it, like bringing any of those charms? And I'm not saying you're not being authentic. That's not the code behind what I'm trying to say. But like, do you feel like being more authentic is part of what you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny because you're sort of like almost like asking, knowing that me saying, "Oh, I'm doing this," could feel like a tactic, and like feels like you're trying to do me stuff. I'll tell you this: like one of the things that I tried to do when I got elected was I thought like and in fact, my wife was like, she's like, just don't become like another like absolute robot.
Fucking loser.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think to use those words, but
I did.
Fucking loser is that's
just
the right.
another lame ass personality, less loser. Yes.
I mean, like you're gonna have to be thoughtful about it. Your comments can move markets. You can really wreck big things, for not just for yourself but for the country in a job like this. So you can't be flip. But I do think that sometimes in media, in politics, people are controlled to the point of like not saying anything. And I didn't want to be that guy. So like I was certainly hoping I could still talk a little bit, like go through it, not just stay at like the platitude, but actually go into the next line underneath it. And I try to do that. But there's a limit to, like, seriously, there's a limit. Like there's only so much you can do before you're like, now maybe this is not a wise idea, right? So like it's like you don't get to go into like the 5-minute monologue like you do on The Strategist, but you could do a minute and a half where you're like, oh, and like, hey, we've got this other thing to consider, and hey, have you thought about that? But it's tricky. Like you really don't want to blow it up. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? You've seen media.
Yeah, I mean, your media is
I honestly, genuinely don't ask as a criticism. I ask almost thinking of like armchair quarterback. If I got elected tomorrow, what would I be in the sense of like public persona? You know what I mean? Like, would I just be like, oh, I'm just gonna drop an F-bomb. No one's gonna like, because that's how I talk. Or like, part of me likes to think I would, but I'm not faced with the reality you are, which is caucus responsibility. Like, I get it, right? Like, and intellectually, I get it. But I guess what's the balance in this world where people want more authenticity. People want more real people. And I'm not saying you be Beto O'Rourke and drop F-bombs. That's what I'm suggesting at all. But I'm just kind of curious, like, have you found the balance, or are you comfortable with thus far with like the tone? I'm not asking you to introspect. It's not a criticism.
Yeah, like I'm not uncomfortable. It's interesting. Like, but to your point, I did drop an F-bomb earlier in this episode, and I thought I probably shouldn't have done that. And I'm not
interesting.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that swearing means as much to me, right? Maybe it does you and Beto O'Rourke, but I think it is one of those things where you start to wonder, okay, well, what is like additive being yourself and what is diminishing being yourself? Like what are the parts that are actually going to help this conversation along? Or because like, look, I didn't come here to be funny on television. I came here to get stuff done. I think that the country is like at an important crossroads, and so
okay, so that's where we're different. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
exactly. Exactly
Okay.
Right?
That's why you ran instead of me.
But no,
that
hey,
makes
listen,
sense.
you know what's really like? Listen, this
That's
came
so
up
funny.
in
Okay.
another context about the three of us. I was talking to somebody about like what's a good show, right?
Yeah.
Like of the strategists, and I was saying to them, for Steven, it's no question, was the show entertaining? Like that's like his bar. Like he's never happier than when the show is entertaining. For Zain, is this different than what everybody else is doing? Like, is this zagging?
Yes.
Right? And for me, it was like, was it informative? And that was always kind of the difference between the three of us when we were approaching a show. And when a show was like all three of those, then like we were all happy. But generally speaking, most shows can't be all three of those, right? But I think that is a bit of the difference between us, and maybe why I sort of ended up, doing this at least first. I don't know. I could still see you running some days, Zane. But like,
what about me? I'm right.
You're
I'm
toxic.
right here.
You're like poison.
I'm sitting
Carter,
right here.
Carter, one thing I'll let you have the mic, Carter. One thing I don't like is that Corey's talking about the podcast, the three of us, as if it was something in the past and not something that's going to happen again once he loses. The next election. I don't like that. I don't like that about Corey.
You live in my riding. You live in
I know,
our
but
riding.
I will vote. And that's all. But I will vote for you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Well, it depends.
Thank
It depends, actually.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
But no, I mean, like, look, to your question, it's like these are. I came to do something, right? And I don't want to get in my own way while trying to do those things. So, like, you try to think about that too.
Yeah, it's difficult to imagine a scenario where you have to change your personality, kind of dramatically to fit into a new role, because it's not just a 9-to-5 job, right? Like it is all day, every day. You're on the stage, whether you're on the stage on main media, or you're jumping into a caucus meeting, or you're jumping into a meeting with the Prime Minister's office. Wherever you are on stage, even if it's a meeting with a constituent, right? Whereas before, like we have time off. Right, we don't have to be the member of Parliament for Calgary Confederation all the time. How's that wearing on you? And is it wearing on the family unit as well? Like, has it changed the relationship with the Gen Pop that we get to interact with? I know a lot of people come up to me and say, "Really glad Corey's a member of Parliament and off the podcast." But is that something that you get all the time too?
Yeah.
So I did a video about this just the other day. It is weird. Like on a Saturday morning before April of this year, like, Lori would say something like, "Oh, we need breakfast." And I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I'll go to the store." And I'd, put on a ball cap and I'd put on a sweater or something. I'd be wearing like just clothes that looked like absolute garbage. And I'd walk out and I'd go to the store. You don't get to do that anymore, right? You got to, I'd be like, okay, well, if I'm going out, I got to shave, I got to shower, I got to do my hair. I've got to hit that level of like weekend professional where it's like, nah, I don't need to wear like a suit, obviously, but I should probably wear a collared shirt or like, something. And I know it sounds dumb, but you're also pretty mindful a lot of the time that you're their representative. And there's a lot of people who are like, you're not representing me well if you're not like wearing something nicer, right? Like,
you think
is this
isn't
how
that
I want to
such
be?
an old school way of
Sure, dude, but
is.
like it's a big riding. There's like 130,000 people who live in it, and some of them are older, some of them are more traditional, and some of them are happy to have you supporting it. And to my point about like you don't want to get in your own way, like is it the biggest deal? Like I agree.
Sure.
I don't think it has any effect on whether I'm a good representative, or not, whether I wear a baseball cap to the grocery store. But you do think to yourself like, why would I get in my own way if this matters to them?
Mm-hmm.
And me just
it doesn't matter a shit ton to you.
It doesn't matter to me at all. And what am I going to stand on, like some principle that I want the right to be grubby on a Saturday morning? Like, what's that mean? So there is a little bit of that, and so it does mean that you think about that a little bit more. And I don't know, like so far for the family stuff, it hasn't had a huge effect. I mean, I think the kids are still in that fairly malleable age where they're like, oh, okay, this is the thing we're doing now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, and while it certainly had an effect on everything, I don't think they're not being like, oh my God, it's the worst every time we go out. I think they're still thinking it's pretty fun. Check in with me on that one in 6 months.
Yeah, I will for sure. It's something that's interesting because it is two things: being away all the time.
Yeah, well,
and
that's tough.
Being on all the time. Both of those, make it more challenging to be yourself in your normal situation. I remember being chief of staff and having a hell of a time trying to figure out how to be yourself and represent the government at the same time.
Yeah.
It was kind of a tricky little line, and not one I managed well. So I think that you've made more good choices. But then, I trailblazed for you.
Has Corey been an MP longer than you've been a chief of staff? I just want to do the
cumulatively, or
sure, yeah. Do you think he's going to lap you?
No.
Over under on if Corey's going to be an MP longer than you were chief of staff?
I think it's going to be longer. I think it's going to be longer,
that's
but
nice. Don't jinx
not,
it, but
not a lot. But a bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it isn't. I think he's going to take my conversation of authenticity to heart, and there may be a national interview that Corey gives that doesn't go so well.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, actually, like it's funny. The other thing about interviews is you think about that a lot, especially in the early days. It's like, like I've had a few under my belt now, and it's like,
sure.
I could probably have one that's not ideal, and like it wouldn't be the end of the world. They'd be like, oh, off day. But like, what's your first one, right? Like, oh, go do this for us, and you're like, I'd like not to screw this up.
Isn't that interesting though? Like you are carrying the load of spokesperson on some of these files where you are the parliamentary secretary, not the minister, so to speak. Yeah. There is a there where it's like you're taking one for the, I guess in your case, the triad that is the natural resource, like you one of the two parlsecs and the minister, but also like by extension the entire government.
Yeah, well, especially when the file is like so real to it. But like Zain, when you were talking or Carter, I guess, when you're saying like it's tough like to know how to be yourself in it.
Yeah.
I think a lot about like I had a boss. She was the clerk in Alberta, Marcia Nelson, and I remember, and I was like, new DM there, and she said something to me, which I think is advice that a lot of people get, but it was the first time I had really heard it. And she said, "Hey, you got to know something. Like these are lonely jobs, right? Like everybody treats you a little bit differently. It's just a bit of a different feeling. There's a bit of a like hierarchy. You can't go like hanging out with people the same way you used to do it, and there's a huge truth to that, right? People treat you very differently when you have a job like that. I'm not a different person, I'm the same idiot who was on this podcast 4 months ago, but it does, like, people do treat you differently. So as much as it's like, how do I stay being myself? The other reality is, Carter, like, people don't treat me the same as they used to.
Thank God you got Zain and I. Then,
well,
we continue to shit on you.
Let's be clear about that. Have you noticed? Let's make this a bit meta and self-involved, which is the other subtitle of this podcast.
Yeah.
Have you noticed us treating you differently in any meaningful way?
Like
honestly,
I'm
actually no. Like I'm curious if the answer is yes as well, because I think that is fascinating. Because I have been, and I'm curious if you've noticed.
Have you? I don't think I've noticed this. I would listen, and I'm feeling like I'm not a very observant friend. But
no. I'm curious if you notice, and just only in one way, and it's very meaningful. But keep going.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to hearing this. But like, I think you notice it a lot less with the people that you've known for longer, and I've known both of you for a really long time. Yeah. Like, you're both very good friends of mine, and I think you really hang on to those people at moments like that, right? Like. And I think it's great that I got lots of good friends, but like, it's more like that, not even the next hero, but the tier after that, where all of a sudden they're like calling you MP Hogan or Mike. I can't tell you, like, when I got elected, my phone, no slight to anyone listening who was one of these many hundreds of people who did it, but my phone blew up with people who I hadn't talked to in years who were like, oh, let's grab coffee. Right?
Holy shit. Yeah, awesome.
Right?
And not all lobbyists, not all looking for something, I imagine.
Not all lobbyists, not all looking for something.
Yeah.
Listen, love you all, and I will try to get to all of you for coffees at some point in the near future. But like, there isn't like you're like, I mean, I haven't really heard from you in 5 years, right? And like, I'm glad that I'm back on your radar. Like, life is fun like that. Like, it all of a sudden, like, people pull back into your life. But like, you can't help but wonder at those moments, like, do they want something, right?
Yeah.
And
It's just
so,
transactional. Yeah.
well, and that's, or like even banking for future use. And so that does kind of, you think about that. And that's not great that you think about that. And I should think about the fact that I think about that to go even more meta than you're talking about, Zane. But it is definitely, it's hard not to notice the sheer volume of engagements you have that you hadn't had in a long time.
The way I've been treating you differently is I've been deliberately reaching out less because I think you are so much busier. You have explicitly reached out to me more, cold called me, texted me than I've actually sent to you, because I'm like, well, fuck, this guy's just like, why would he want to shoot the shit about this? You know what I mean? Like, and in some ways, I wonder, and I heard this from someone else, is that like it's a lonely job because people treat you differently, but often the people that are your closest friends, like, they just sometimes stop reaching out because they're like, well, this person, like, I'm going to park them on the side. And I'm not naming the person, but very close to me. You can kind of put the pieces together potentially. Also had a version of this where the friends around them were like, oh, we're not reaching out because we're sorry. Like, we thought we were like on the outs, like, not because we don't like it, because you got big shit to do now. Like,
I mean, that's 100% true. Zane, like you say it, and I hadn't really thought of it. It's so true.
Yeah.
Like, you hear from your friends less and you hear from your acquaintances more.
Well, that's
when
wild.
you're in a
I imagine. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I'm going to start
Isn't
calling
that
him
like-
every day.
No, but it's true.
Every
Corey
day.
has called me more randomly just to chat
I
about
think
stuff.
that's actually true of you too, Carter.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
I think I call
There's-
you more than you call me.
And it's for the same reason. I'm always like, when I'm thinking about, I got to call Corey, right? I have to think, where is he? What's he doing right now?
Yeah.
And what's the relative priority of this? And then, I'm also very not fussed when it doesn't go through, right? When we're unable to connect. But I'll tell you, I also answer your phone calls a lot more than I used to.
I don't.
Oh, I do.
That friends, I still don't.
Because Zane, you are who you are at your core. You don't want to change.
This is true.
I appreciate that.
I
exactly what you're
fucking
gonna swear
bent.
a lot, isn't it?
I bent over for him. So that's the wrong phrasing.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say. Yeah, I
please,
said that incorrectly. But I
never change, Carter.
Never change. No, this is the reality. When he calls, I could be in a meeting, and for the most part, unless it's like
my
a
MP.
really important, I have to go, oh, excuse me, this is the parliamentary secretary. They say, what the hell's a parliamentary secretary?
He still has that animation of himself as his avatar.
I do,
You're
yeah.
like, well, that doesn't seem serious at all.
I
Like
should
this
probably
right here.
change that now that you mention it.
I'm not going to reveal the phone number, but this is
Okay,
This is
can
what
you
your
blur
MP.
that phone number out before you post this bloody
It's not.
video.
I'm not. I'm going right here. The phone number's not exposed.
Yeah,
We're good.
Trust me. I beg you. I beg.
We're not exposing the phone number. We're just gonna make the episode title the phone number.
Okay.
Yeah,
But no one will
exactly.
figure it
That
out
actually
unless
feels
they
right.
listen to the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
But on that front, right? It's interesting because you the other aspect of it, just to kind of close the loop on this conversation, is I also don't want to reach out to you in the sake that you're like, oh shit, he needs something from me or wants something and then you prioritize that. Like, it's just weird. Like, it's not true. Like, we're friends, but I also don't want you to be like, fuck, Zain needs something from me, so maybe I should. It's like, there's a thing, right? Like, I don't want you to feel like, I kind of feel like, oh, I'm jumping the line in some way, even though I don't know anything. Or, it's like one of those things.
No,
and it's also like, I actually don't know how to be friends with the MP. Like, I was talking to someone about this the other day, right? Is that like, I've got two close friends who are now members of Parliament. I actually don't know how to be friends with you. Like, what's appropriate, what's not, because of I'm adjacent to the space, not in the space. It's one of those like Anchorman. I don't know what to do with my hands, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I made it about myself all of a sudden, Corey. I do have, Carter, do you have anything? I want to switch gears dramatically and talk to Corey about
this
something
has
he feels
been
comfortable
quite I don't even know how I would describe this at this point. Introspective, just kind of
he's
getting
gonna
into
not
our
sleep
feelings
tonight.
here on some stuff. Yeah.
Not sleeping.
I have a serious thing to talk to Corey about, like a pretty serious thing, because I despite me just saying I didn't reach out to him, I did send him a text the other day about something that I thought that I was really proud of him about. So can we go there, Carter?
We're proud of him?
Corey, you did not stand for the conservative statement on the Charlie Kirk thing. And
Yeah.
I know I'm like simplifying the whole thing. Talk to me about what that situation was, how you folks experienced that from the backbenches, and just to bring everyone into loop, if you've been under a rock, right? Charlie Kirk is assassinated. We have this moment that in the American right, that this is being, let's just be clear, used to
Oh
cancel
yeah.
other folks, to try to like push people on certain narratives, to restrict free speech. And I'd say a lot of his past transgressions, words are kind of being sanded down, and he's been memorialized across sports stadiums and sports leagues and television programs. And there was a statement to that broader effect in our House of Commons. And maybe I'll kind of let you carry the story from there, take the story on from there, Corey, and talk to me about how you processed that and what that felt like and what that moment was like and why you didn't stand and clap for it.
Yeah. So look, there was a statement that was done, and we do statements every day in the House of Commons, right? Like there is like a slew of 1 minute statements that are occurred. And they can be on anything from the opposition complaining about something that we've done to, it is Carafest, and let me tell you about what it means to my community. To, I did one for the University of Calgary and the graduates going across in the spring too. You name it. And often there's also memorials for people who, meant something in the community that, they want to make sure that they're recognizing in the House of Commons. Because then you're on like the record forever.
You're on the record, yeah.
There's a video you can provide loved ones and all of this stuff, right? And I guess I really want to start. I appreciate that you're proud of me for it, but I don't even. Let me just get it all out, and then we can chat about it, okay?
Yeah. Like, I'm giving you my interpretation. You give me yours. Yeah.
There was a statement that was done about political violence, and largely it wasn't even about Charlie Kirk until the end, when it was like, Charlie Kirk, his wife and his kids, and, we feel for y'all. And, it became a little bit more about Charlie Kirk just in the turn, as much about his family as him, in my opinion. But and then there was a standing ovation that occurred. It started on the conservative side, and then it like kind of flowed to the liberals. It's very common, by the way. There's lots of standing ovations, and they tend to like start by the people who know them most, like, oh, look at them, they lost somebody, or like somebody in their community up, and then it flows across. And it's not really, I say this because I don't want you to think it was like unusual for it to be contagious in that sense, right? We're pretty free with standing ovations for people who've died in the House of Commons, right? I, however, was not very comfortable with the way it kind of flipped at the end and became about Charlie Kirk. And while I certainly appreciated the message about political violence, right, which is, I think, something that we all should really think about, I wasn't prepared to do something that could be interpreted as being a standing ovation for Charlie Kirk, a man who I think has caused a lot of harm and hurt, in his life as well. And well, I think it is outrageous that he was shot. It was just not, it's just not something I was willing to do. I wasn't the only one. Like in my immediate orbit, I know of a couple of other MPs who didn't. But I say this for two reasons. One is like, I don't think that was that special that I did it. But I also don't think it was bad that the other people did it. Like, because I know why they did it. And part of it is that kind of contagion of, oh, somebody died. Part of it is the, okay, it was about political violence. But expanding on the second part, I think what he's, this is like a really like on the couch Oprah style almost episode you're creating for us here, say. But like, I think one of the things that is really not easy for politicians to talk about is like, we're public figures, and Charlie Kirk is a public figure who was assassinated in front of his family, right?
Insane.
And there is,
like, it's insane. Like,
it's insane. And there is not a person in that House of Commons who didn't sit there and say, holy shit, like that could have been me. That could have been my family, right? It's not because we think that we're Charlie Kirk. God, most of us perish thought, right? But it's just, this is where it seems to be going to. And there is a feeling that feels selfish, but it's real, where we are starting to get really worried. Like, there are conversations that happen behind closed doors about, should we do something about this? And then like, there's often like well, if we do, it'll look like we're creating rules just to protect ourselves from the public. So maybe we should, like these are conversations.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what, like conversations around like security
I'm not even going to get into
it.
I'm not even going to get into it. I'm just going to say,
let us fill in the blanks. Got it.
Yeah, please. But like, we worry. We worry because we have families. We worry because we don't want to die. And we worry because the world seems really crazy. So, like, there is an emotional component to it that it's easy to intellectualize from a distance and say, like, he's a bad guy. Why did people stand for him? Or, like, he said bad things. If you don't want to call him a bad guy, maybe I won't even go. But, like, people feel things, and it's hard. It's hard to begrudge people for, in that moment, having been like, shit, like, this is true. This is crazy. Like, and like, walk through the statement from, like, we should be settling our differences more civilly. His family was there, rest in peace, Charlie. That's sort of where it took a turn and it started to feel more like a statement. But, like, it was like, it was not about I don't think it was about Charlie Kirk for anyone in the house, I guess is what I'm going to say. Like,
okay,
I think
interesting.
Charlie Kirk was the hook on which this sentiment was hung.
I appreciate the full side of that, Carter. I'm wanting to let you jump in here. I do want to talk a lot more about the political violence thing a bit, if Corey's open to it. But Carter?
It's not new. I mean, the threat of political violence has certainly been around for quite some time. And, when Alison Redford was the premier and I was following around close to her, you were worried. You were worried about being too close to the principal. You knew about the threats. Even Jyoti Gondek, faced threats every day of her mayoralty. The proper way to deal with politics is to elect to outspeak, to combat in the world of rhetoric, not in the world of violence. And yet you see Charlie Kirk advocating for violence against others, right? So, it's okay to spill some blood. It was one of his kind of catchphrases, not his phrases, but his intentions. And I abhor that type of discussion because it is real for those of us in the game. There is a threat of violence all the time. And it doesn't need to be elected. You don't need to be elected. You can just be around them. I often worry for the staffs because just being around them is sometimes enough that you're going to get impacted. And if you kind of go back and rewind, there was families that were impacted. I can't remember the exact details. The Democrats that were essentially assassinated as well. That didn't get the same.
They were. Like, it wasn't essentially, like, they were.
Didn't get the same attention as didn't get the same attention as Charlie Kirk, and that's devastating, because ultimately every act of political violence should be treated the same.
I think your point, Carter, is fascinating around, like, the orbit around the politician. Mm-hmm. Like, Kirk was like a media person, like an American equivalent to and it's significant. Like, degrees are different, but like a gig like ours.
Oh yeah,
right. Like, it was like very much media, right? Very much like loudmouthy, very much like, get his name brand out there. And yes, there's differences in infrastructure and reach and all those things. I'm not trying to compare those two, right? So, for anyone who wants to come after us on that, that's not what I'm saying. It was it was part of the political class in the broadest sense, not the narrowest sense.
Exactly.
Well, and so that's why I said political actor and not politician, right? Like, I think this is like, democracies aren't supposed to settle differences this way. And
tell me this, Hogan. Concerning. Like, you have, and I'm going to use this term just as a shorthand, but there's a lot of shotgun MPs. They became MPs because the Carney wave was happening. Nominations happened quickly. It was like a roller coaster high. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody.
I would. That guy.
Yeah.
That guy right there.
that guy with the atrocious House of Commons microphone. Buyer's remorse? Have you? Not for you.
Yeah.
Unless you want to talk about it. But
no,
have you heard of buyer's remorse? Have you heard of buyer's remorse amongst people? Like, essentially, like, them or their families being like, holy fuck, I didn't sign up for this shit. Not on where the direction of the government's going, et cetera. We can get into all that. But I mean more so on this political violence question, being like, oh, fuck, like, this really snaps shit into focus. This is not what I signed up for.
Well, I haven't heard that on the political violence front. But again, like, it is something that we do talk about in the halls, right? I have certainly heard people talk about the pressures that it's created on their families and their lives, more generally, and how maybe even some comments about like, this isn't quite what I thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
right? Like because of the places I've worked and the background I've got, it's kind of exactly what I thought it would be in most ways, right? But some people clearly it's not, and I don't think there's like a lot of people being like, well, I don't know why I did this, but I do think there are a lot of people who are having to figure out what the job is, and you can tell that not all of, and I'm talking on both sides. I'm not calling out like liberals or the Carney wave, right? You can tell in the new class, those of us who are sometimes like, is this my favorite thing? No, I don't think it is. Like for me, like I keep going on about question period. I hate question period, right? I find it.
We've heard. Please underline it here,
painful.
but we've heard.
Yeah, I find it painful to sit through.
Have you had to do anything on QP just yet?
No, like, actually, interestingly enough, not. Like we're sitting here at 11:45 p.m. Ottawa time,
Nothing
and
yet.
I am up for QP tomorrow if there's any questions on energy or natural resources. So maybe by the time somebody's heard this, I will be. But yeah, as it stands, not in QP. Oh, that's not true. I actually asked a question in QP, a friendly, before I was parliamentary secretary. Yeah.
Will the minister explain why he's so good at doing what he is?
Yeah.
Thank you, member. As the Minister of Transport, co-sponsored by Flair Airlines, Corey. Question. Corey, I'll let you get into if there's any other things you want to talk about. But Corey, you brought up something that I find interesting. You said both sides. How's your relationship how's your relationship been with non-caucus members, MPs of your freshman class, MPs of other political stripes? How we often hear that is eroded, like the decorum of that. It's like, has it though on the back end? Like, are there still friendships? Do you just to stick to your own teams? Explain to me how your experience has been.
Yeah, first of all, I'll say like one of the things about like the Canadian system is when I say both sides, I literally mean the physical geography of the House. Like I know there's more than two parties, like the Bloc are there, the NDP are there, the Green are there, but both sides of the chamber. It's interesting. Like I'll say this, like I think Elizabeth May is a delight. She's like one of my favorite people in the House on a personal level.
Elizabeth May,
yeah.
You mean the soon to be once again leader of the Green Party.
I'll get into it, but like I think she is a delight, right? On a personal level, there are MPs that I just really, really like on the other side, and that I have very warm relationships with on the other side. There's a lot of Bloc MPs that I find like very funny and very interesting. There's a lot of Conservative MPs that I find to be pretty stand-up folks. Yeah, it's so funny, like especially when it comes to the Conservatives, I almost feel by me saying I like them, I would be doing them a disservice in this environment that we live in right now. So maybe I shouldn't name names.
So maybe you should name one name.
I should. Yeah.
Maybe name three names.
Because I see him all the time, like Greg McLean. We share the Bow River and we're at events together.
That's not a lame name. Anybody.
I mean, really Greg's not lame. I mean, Greg's kind of lame.
That's why I said it. That's why I said it, though. Like, because, look, I think, the reality is there will be time.
Pretty much a liberal. You should pretty much caucus with you guys.
Do you know what is funny?
Based on what Pierre's going to do between now and January, Greg McLean should just cross the floor.
Exactly.
You could just laugh, but Carter and I could talk.
Yeah,
I think you're actually doing him a solid right now. He's in a very liberal riding, right? Where, like, I think the idea that he's actually kind of a liberal is helpful to him. So I don't know if that's your intention or not. But
it's not. I'm just like reading the guy, and I know him a bit, and I generally don't mind him.
Yeah, and because of geography and flights and all of that, I've just I know him a little bit more. Both Ivy graduates too, so you find little things. I'll say this: you find these little things that are like, oh, that's our connection, and now we have that thing, right? Like no matter how big or how small it is, like you find that thing. Like me and Pierre Poilievre, we went to the same high school. I haven't talked to Pierre Poilievre ever, not even once, but if I do, we've got that. We can go.
Do you
talk
notice
about
he's
that.
starting to look a little bit more like Pierre? Or is Pierre
Want
starting to look a little bit more?
On that? Want to comment on that, Corey?
I'm not. I might start wearing glasses again. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So.
Carter, what do you want to talk about?
You know what? I'm just intrigued with all of this. One of the things that I'm actually really intrigued is, do you find this tightrope of this podcast now to be more daunting than it was when we were recording before in the pre.
100%.
Are you like stressed out? Like I am going.
I'm not
could
stressed
end
out.
His arms were crossed for
I know.
5 minutes. So yeah, I think so.
That
Carter.
has more to do with the seat. Like I have nowhere to put them. Like it
Yeah, I
just
know.
feels
I'm in
kind
the
of
same.
like I'm in a weird
I have
spot.
to hold
but-
my microphone, otherwise.
Yeah,
I'd be screwed.
you got a microphone hold. I don't even have that. But like, no, listen, for sure. So when we had the podcast, when I was on the podcast, like I was a university vice president. Like I there were lines I shouldn't reasonably cross, right?
You've always had more berries than Carter. Now. That's true.
For sure. Like that's
Or-
been
yeah.
true. Like basically the entire existence of this bloody podcast. But so it's not like I have a certain comfort with knowing like there's things you can't do and there's things you can't say. But Carter, to your point, like one of the things that's going through my head is like, and I'll always be a guy who likes to talk about the mechanics and the nuts and bolts and all of that. But you do, well, I started where even just today, I'm like, we're talking about the nuts and bolts in a way that maybe makes it sound like I don't care about the substance of it, but like they are just a delivery mechanism for it, right? And so, yeah, I think about that too. And it definitely makes me think, well, it's not the same. It's like I've got to be a little more mindful for sure.
No, I like you struggling. It is
Well,
always
I know
made
you
me
do.
happy, and
Yeah,
you
for
suffering
sure.
is one of the things I look for. So this is good, and I think your lighting has somehow improved through the course of this podcast.
Do you know why? Because these lights are on a motion sensor, and just
You
if
still
you
use
move
your hands
around,
to talk. You
and I
still use your hands to
my
talk.
hands to talk. So yeah, so it gets to be a challenge.
Carter, we should probably let him go. It's
Are
nearly
you guys
midnight.
going to talk about like policies? Do you want to know?
Well, I
No,
want
not
to,
really.
but I want to save it. I guess at this point, Carter and I are probably going to be principal secretary and then get fired in a couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
maybe Carter, do you want to?
I'm up for it. I got an interview.
Which part of the foreign service do you want to go to?
Yeah.
I hear Carter's just dilshing those out.
No, you can go anywhere. Yeah,
Yeah,
anywhere in the world.
It's fantastic. I listen. I love what you guys are doing by trading the left for the right. Like it's really really good stuff. Congratulations.
All right. Okay.
It really sounds right. Do you want to go there? Because
It's
I don't know if
just
you want to go there
Always good to see you, Zane.
at midnight.
Always good to see
Carter, we will do an accountability of Corey Vashi Capello style, where we ask you the same question, not in a different way, but in the same way 3 times. Which is what makes Vashi a star. Love to watch you scrub a bit. Carter, this is the final segment of the show. I don't know if you remember, as a minister, we each get to ask our guest, Corey Hogan, one on-the-record question, okay?
Oh, yeah.
This is where Corey provides us one on-the-record. This lets
was
this
all off
podcast
the record before this?
We'll allow it.
What has
we'll still
happened to
go
the
out.
listenership number since I was on?
Well, it's trust me, it's gone up. Sky high.
It's sky
Okay?
high.
Sky
Yeah.
high. Sky. Rebuilding the patrons, but sky high. Okay. Carter, I have my question locked and loaded. It'll give you a bit of time to think of your question.
Thank
but
you.
Corey, as a Canadian member of Parliament, I want you to opine on: did Steve Ballmer purposefully circumvent the salary cap for Kawhi Leonard?
Man, look, I think
Yes
we've
or no
got to
answers,
follow.
please.
We got to follow the
Polygraph
smoke.
style.
We got to follow the smoke on this. And there's a lot of smoke, Zane. And I'm just asking questions. And maybe I'll ask longer questions in the house where I've got libel shields. But I'm just.
Could you
asking
ask
questions.
that? Could you ask that to the Minister of Sport? Do you have a Minister of Sport?
Yeah,
I
Can
do,
you
but
ask?
I don't get to ask questions. I'm part of the government.
Yeah, well, you literally threw a softball to someone the other day.
That was
When is your-
before I was sorry. Like so an MP who's not a minister of
fuck
parliament.
me. Okay, I got to talk to a conservative to get
do.
this question
Yeah,
asked.
you do.
Okay, I'm going to get
I'll give
this
you some
question
names.
asked.
Yeah.
How big of a deal would it be if I get this question asked to the House?
I would be pretty impressed based on how QP
If I
lists
could,
are made.
if
so
I could do this,
I would
would
be
I
impressed.
would I go down in House of Commons
I think so.
be a legend?
Yeah,
okay,
we'll
I'm
put
gonna
a-
work on this.
we'll put a
This is my
bust
new
of you.
project, Carter.
Okay.
Carter, I'm unavailable to record for the next 6 months. I've got a project.
No, you've got a
Carter-
project. Yeah, of course.
You have one on the record question to ask the parliamentary secretary of the minister, to the minister of podcast, Corey Hogan. What would you like to ask him?
Which is your favorite strategist host?
Annalise, I don't know where she went.
Yeah, she's still doing the civic ones. We're doing civic ones together.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
no, I meant tonight.
Carter, by the way, with the remaining 30 seconds, let's begin your accountability episode for the Calgary Party and the Edmonton Accelerants. Why
What is
didn't
the
it work
name?
out?
What is the actual name of the Edmonton party?
Better Edmonton.
He doesn't like that I fuck it up.
Better Edmonton. No, the Edmonton accelerants is fine with me. It seems to match the overall flavor of the campaign at this point. So it's...
I meant accelerant as in like gasoline
burning,
on a tire fire.
Yeah,
yes.
Burning the house down. Yeah, no, I was very clear on what the accelerant meant.
Are
you? Wait. Yeah. Wait. Well, okay, this is good. Yeah. This is good. If Carter admits to the following, the episode title is "Start at the 50-minute mark." Stephen Carter. Stephen Carter. Are you admitting defeat?
No, I'm saying we're catching fire.
That's not what I was saying.
Oh,
and that is not what.
I guess we just had a misunderstanding.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, I don't think we did, you fucker.
I'm crossing my arms again.
Corey's back to. How do we exit this thing usually?
This is the second one we've done of this. So,
what do we do the first time, Carter? You're the minister.
Yeah. I think that both of you declare your allegiance to me, and then we.
Does your minister make you declare his allegiance to him, Corey?
He does not. No.
Okay.
No, that hasn't happened yet. No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's upsetting.
Just wait. Yeah. Just wait. Yeah. Well, you get one shovel into the ground, and those guys can change. Okay, trust me. I declare my allegiance to you, Carter. Yes.
Thank you. And Corey?
Corey, we're just waiting for you.
Yeah. To His Majesty King Charles III.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Yeah. And all his regional representatives. Correct. That's good. That's good. Thank you.